With news from across the Santa Clarita Valley, this is Canyons News.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Cougar Sports Extra. I'm Eli Kern. It was a jam-packed week of sports here on campus, so let's get right into it, starting with soccer. Let's start with the men's team. Last week, the Cougars took on Citrus College in their last home game of the season. On sophomore night, they held their own against Citrus. Their defense put in a strong shift to keep the clean sheet on their big night. The strong defensive performance freed up the midfield, who were creating chances out wide all game. In the 77th minute, Andrew Montez found Franzoa Fernandez for the goal. COC beat Citrus 1-0. Now over to the women's team, where the Lady Cougars look to continue their undefeated run in conference play. The opponent standing in their way was also Citrus, who the Lady Cougars beat 4-0 just about 3 weeks ago. Multiple chances early on for the Cougars, including this run from Lizeth Gutierrez. Skips past 3 defenders and lays it off for Ryan Shepard. Shot saved by the keeper, falls for Gutierrez. You know she wants that one back. Now look at this from the resulting goal kick. Some vertical play from Citrus and a lovely first touch from Jamie Beattie get her one-on-one with the keeper. Calm and composed finish puts Citrus ahead 1-0. Into the second half, and it's a lovely delivery from Vivian Martinez that finds Natalia Ramirez, heartbreaker off the bar, and it was just one of those days for COC until it wasn't. Late in stoppage time here, the Cougars looking for a moment of magic, and Alyssa Edwards is the magician. Wraps her left foot around the ball, excellent goal, and that's her 10th of the season. COC rescued their undefeated conference campaign in the dying moments.
I mean, they keep fighting. The spirit was there, and they never feel like the game is already done.
For us, a tie is way better than a loss because a loss would bump us probably down and give the other opponents a chance to actually catch up with us. So a tie is way better than a loss for us.
In sports, winning is hard. It's especially difficult when you have trouble breathing. Sam Rabati shows us how one athlete overcomes more than just their opponent.
Oh! Go, Sarah!
No pain, no gain. It's something every athlete has heard of, but for one COC soccer player, literal pain is just a heartbeat away.
They told me I wouldn't be able to play soccer, and I was like, you're crazy. Like, I'm playing. I'm not going to let these health issues stop me from playing the game I love.
Those issues start with a severe case of asthma.
So I get like the sharp chest pain, I get like the blockage, like I feel like I'm getting no airflow in, I'm like wheezing, shortness of breath. It's just not comfortable at all. Ready, Kim?
And that is just half the battle. Doctors diagnosed Ryan with vocal cord dysfunction at the age of 17. So when she breathes, her vocal cords close instead of open, restricting airflow.
VAR, VAR.
But the kinesiology major with an emphasis in sports also happens to be one of the top goal scorers on the team and leaves her opponents in awe of her movements.
Ryan's dynamic forward, probably her number one quality is her ball striking in tight spaces, able to, rip a shot off with not a lot of space.
When Ryan isn't punishing the opposition on the pitch, she works in youth sports, and her passion for kids is only matched by her love for her teammates.
She's usually like trying to pump us all up. She's the hype man of the team. She's very energetic. She always is ready to play like right as we go.
A leader in many respects,
Go, go, go!
Ryan is also wise.
Just don't give up. Like, don't take no as an answer. Like, prove them wrong and don't let a no be your yes.
Ryan is game for any challenge and takes it on one breath at a time. For Canyons News, I'm Sam Rabati.
For a high school athlete, those 4 years can provide a lifetime of memories. Soccer players in Southern California are potentially looking at this being a season they'd rather forget. I spoke with the local boys varsity coach to learn more. With the high school soccer season just 1 week away, boys and girls around the valley are preparing for what might be a very different game. The referee associations that cover the CIF Southern section are boycotting games due to a pay dispute with the CIF.
They saw that CIF City, they got a little bit of a pay raise, and then now they essentially want the same pay raise.
The CIF Southern section covers over 500 schools, including the local high schools. This means thousands of student athletes, including hundreds of Santa Clarita residents, will be impacted. So, how do you play a soccer game without a ref? According to the CIF,
you can get assistant coaches to do it. You can reschedule the game, and then they said that you can kind of go to outside the scope of the referee associations. And then the fourth option, which is the option that's probably going to do, is reach out to your local universities. So far, we've been in talk with COC, with masters, of getting the college athletes that play soccer. They want them to come officiate the games.
All of these options have their own downsides, including maybe the most important part of this whole boycott.
The integrity game is just going to go south. The families involved, you come to a game and you see your kid get hurt because a game got out of control. Like where does that leave CIF when all these injuries start to happen, or when all these fights start to break out?
The CIF South season officially kicks off on November 13th. Players, coaches, and families all across Southern California will have to wait until then to see how things unfold.
Essentially, they're standing behind it, and now we're like I said, both sides have just trenched themselves in, and I just don't see any kind of resolution to it, man.
Reporting for Canyons News, I'm Eli Kern. The women's basketball team recently played in the PCC Sisterhood of Champions tournament. Their semifinals matchup against Chaffee was played here at home last weekend. It was a battle of the point guards in this one. Freshman Aaliyah Garcia getting the Cougar offense going with a nice drive and dish. But Chaffee were up to the challenge. More specifically, sophomore Brianna Martinez. She led the game in scoring with 29, and it's no wonder why. Look at the moves on these defenders right here, going past 3 players to the cup. What a move. The Cougars would rally late here, and former high school teammates Jade Sims and Aaliyah Garcia linking up again.
I think it's huge that me and Jada came here together because it's so easy to play with her and we just gel really well. And then we have Vanessa, who we played against each other for pretty much our whole childhood. So we bonded so close and we gotten so close, and I think we've been able to really play well together lately.
Unfortunately, the women's basketball team would go on to lose in the final of the tournament. They lost a close one, 67-61, up against Imperial Valley. Moving on to the men's basketball team, the Cougars tipped off the 15th annual Clash at the Canyons event last weekend. This doubleheader was also the first time the Cougars got to play on the newly named Lee Smeltzer Court. Game 1 was against the Barstow Vikings. Winner moves on to the championship game. The Cougars started strong, cleaning up the glass on both ends, creating some nice, easy buckets. COC freshman Isaiah Baptista got hot from downtown, contributing 24 points, which led all players in scoring on the evening. Barstow brought the full court press, but it didn't stop the bleeding. Cougars win this one 101-83. And with that, the Cougars had a chance to win the 15th annual Clash at the Canyons. With both COC and Cuyamaca College coming off of big wins, this was sure to be a close one. The Cougars got off to a strong start, with sophomore Mason Savory and freshman Joshua Barnett leading the charge. The Coyotes weren't going down easy, with sophomore Xavier Rubio making some tough shots. Into the second half now, and Rubio with a beautiful sidestep 3 ties up the game for Cuyamaca. And look out, Cuyamaca are going on a run. Some tough Cougar buckets, including this one here from Savory, kept them in the game. And now with about a minute left, look at this play here. This is a 4-point play for Xavier Rubio, making it a 1-possession game for Cuyamaca. Now into the next play here, Cuyamaca needs a 4-point miracle to tie it up. Close, but no cigar for Rubio and the Coyotes. Your 2023 Clash at the Canyons winners.
We do have some talent. It's about getting better every day. We talk about 1% every day. We're trying to blend everybody together. A lot of new faces, some inexperience at this level.
We just got to gel it all together now. We haven't had too much time to practice together, but I think by the time mid-season hits, we'll be golden.
Cougars women's volleyball came up big in a division game against Antelope Valley College on the 1st of November. The Cougars had a comfortable night on their home court, sweeping the game 3-0. They were strong on both sides of the ball, not letting the Marauders get any traction. The Cougars were coming back coming off of back-to-back losses versus Bakersfield and Santa Monica, a big win to get them back on track. In the third set, a player from Antelope Valley College had a medical emergency and got taken to a hospital. The player is now in stable condition and has since been released. The first round of high school playoff football kicked off last weekend, with Hart High School playing here at Cougar Stadium. Hart took on Crean Lutheran, and despite coming out with game faces on, it was a sloppy start to the game. The Saints fumbled the ball on their opening drive, but wouldn't have to wait long to get their offense back on the field. Hart quarterback Tim Larkins threw 2 interceptions in the first quarter, and as the dust settled from a wild start, it was the Saints who took control. Number 22 for Crean Lutheran, Justin Dominguez, had himself a night. He finished with 3 rushing touchdowns and 192 yards. Hart struggled to get anything going in the second half, and this is exactly why. The Saints continued their ground and pound game in the second half and cruised to a 37-21 win over Hart.
But, I mean, their offense and defensive lines came out and took care of our offensive defensive line, which hasn't happened before. And they just came out, and like our team, they came out and wanted it a little more than we did. You know, it looked like we thought we were going to be able to beat them easily, and it just didn't happen in the playoffs. We played good teams in the playoffs, and I don't know if our guys realize that or not, but it's 2 years in a row now we lost in the first round, and because of running the ball against us.
For our final story tonight, I got an opportunity to get to know COC men's soccer player Anthony Landeros. After playing on the team back in 2018, Landeros is back with a point to prove.
I've been playing this sport since I was 4 years old. I grew up playing, you know, multiple different sports, but this is always, you know, just stuck with me. I never thought about my life without soccer, but thinking about it now, I wouldn't have had half the relationships I had today without the game, and I'm super thankful because every single person that I've met has helped me become the person that I am today, and I really mean that. You know, off the field, you have your own life, but once you come on here, if you see me and you're trying to see what's up, this is the only thing that matters, you know? And once I felt like I could, you know, focus and become good at this, it just became, you know, natural to me to come train to, you know, relieve whatever stresses I was going through.
He's infectiously positive. He keeps guys accountable. But it's always in a way that's encouraging to people, not in a way that's kind of putting people down. He's a people person. He's a hard worker. People respect him and the effort that he puts in. He's kind of an old school blue collar kind of a guy, and they also recognize, hey, here's a guy who's accomplished what we're setting out to do. He knows what it's like in this conference to do what it takes to win a conference championship.
It was so loose. In 2018, everybody got along. Even the guys that like bumped heads, we all still got along. You know, it was a good environment to be a part of. It was just happening.
It's been one of those things where, you know, he was here and we had a great season and he made a change in his path, and obviously that's what's kind of special about this level, is it's unique and there's opportunities to maintain a relationship, and if people want to make a different choice, just kind of communicate, hey, I'm here to support you, do what you need to do, the door's always open for you if things don't work out the way you want to have it.
So basically, after my freshman season, I continued to go to school through the spring semester, and I just decided that, you know, I wanted to take a break, and I entered the working world.
But we stayed connected, you know, through social media and the different kind of things, and you reach in, you know, talk about some of the guys that have come from the high school that he came from. So it was kind of not active, but consistent relationship, I guess, is the best way to talk about it. So when he showed back up and said, hey, I want to come back, it was great.
Buena! Good save, Keith. I stuck it out for 3 years, and, I just realized the importance of an education, There's a lot of people in my life that, influenced my decision because I didn't want to come back to school, but life happens and everything, has to, everything doesn't work out when it's supposed to, and that's okay. I think you grow up just, hearing about times are going to get hard, you just got to push through them. And you really have to just face, you have to go through hard times to really build the skill of adversity, And I feel in the past 3 years since my freshman season to now, I really feel like I've developed a lot of like good characteristics to, not just that help me, but that I know that could help, the younger generation. Because when I was in their shoes, I was learning, and I would always look up to, certain people that I thought had it together. And, although you don't have it together all the time, I just think that just sticking to, good habits can translate to positive, results. And I really feel like this squad, it's like a happy environment around here, around the guys. Like, we all get along. We go in hard, but at the end of the day, like, we still get along, And I like that. It just builds momentum for us.
Number 8, Nelson Ortez, replacing number 7, Andrew Montes.
And it's the first time that I do something like that, and it's always been a dream of mine to do something like that. And it sounds super, like, cliche, because everybody wants to do something like that. And honestly, like, I was in shock when it happened because I never expected to do something like that. And just to celebrate with my family was just like a full circle moment for me because of where I started and where I am today. It just meant the world to me. Really, it did.
Anthony Landeros coming off.
He had a bit of an ankle sprain, a high ankle sprain, so he's been off.
As an athlete, when you get injured, it sucks. In your head, like, you just know that all that work that I put in and all that work that I've been putting in all these years, and you're gonna be out for like a significant amount of time.
He has the maturity and the perspective and understanding this is kind of how it goes. And you get injured, you take care of yourself because you don't rush it back.
Going back to the basics, just keeping positive and just always knowing that there's gonna be light at the end of the tunnel,
To be honest, we've missed him on the field, but we haven't a ton because he's there. If he can't participate physically, he's gonna participate emotionally and mentally and
You think just because we went to Golden Valley, Utah?
Step up his encouragement of the other guys.
It's challenging in the moment. It adds more fuel to the fire.
These next 2 matches, I think, will be important to see how we rebound. We won 4 in a row, and then we lost one, won one, and then we dropped 3 in a row. So they had a really good taste of the ups and downs of this right now.
We need to mature, really. I think we're there. We work hard, we train hard. It's just being disciplined on the field and, being mature in every situation and every moment. And, once we lock down, once we get that down pat, we'll be all right. I wanted to get a good start on our warm-up because we dropped 3 straight. And this is an important game to pick up our momentum because the league starts next week. So just getting our guys ready for the game was the main thing on my mind. I knew I was gonna get minutes today. It was just having that mentality of staying ready. And when I got that call, I already knew what I was gonna do on the field.
Now coming out on the field, number 25, Anthony Landeros.
Landeros, one of the captains on the team in his first game back in quite some time.
I had manifested it, and I just had a feeling it was gonna go down like that,
Okay, College of the Canyons, number 25, Anthony Landeros.
In my mind, I knew, I was telling myself I was going to score a goal. And I just kept telling myself that, and I believed it. And I really did. And when I got on there, I felt the energy, and I knew I could do it. I'm just in shock. I don't know what to do. The first thing that I thought was just pure joy, you know? It's an inexplainable feeling, really. I just want to say thank you to everybody that supported me, and you know, just never ever give up on your dream, on your goal, because if you persevere and you continue to work hard, anything you want, you can have. And it sounds super cliche, but it's the truth.
That's all for our Cougar Sports Extra. Before we sign off, I want to quickly congratulate the women's golf team for winning their second straight conference title. They're now moving on to the state championships. We also want to wish Cougar football good luck this weekend as they play their final home game of the regular season this Saturday versus Ventura. Good night, everybody.